Ladies and gentlemen, Capcom has done it once again. We thought that they wouldn't catch us the second time around, but they once again dropped out of nowhere some CPU gameplay footage for Viper. So we gotta do what we gotta do, and we gotta have to watch and analyze some Sea Viper. And man, it's gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna be crazy. I've already seen some initial impressions from other people, and yeah, we just gotta get to it. We just gotta get to it, man. Here's gonna be the initial things that I want to look at is how much of the super jump stuff is going to be necessary, because that's going to be very important into a resource game plan, right? We know, because she has a lot of moves that use drive meter on top of just the regular mechanics that use drive meter. She might be very starved if used resources inappropriately in the middle of a match. We also got to look at, how burn kicks kind of work in just the regular match setting. Because in those situations, they showed us the potential, but we haven't really been able to see it in practice too much in that small gameplay trailer. And then, you know what? I think I also want to see the feint cancel stuff more. I'm still just sort of up in the air as far as to how hard it looks like it'll be. But anti-air. Ooh, whoa, whoa, whoa! Wait a minute there. What was that? Oh my God! Did you guys notice that? Did you guys notice that? Oh my Lord! So if you didn't notice there, she did. So pay attention to the drive meter on this Sea Viper right here. Standing medium kick, immediate, it looks like cancel from super jump into thunder knuckle. Holy Jesus. I don't know how hard that input's going to be or how lenient it's going to be, but that's going to be like a key signifier on what's the difference between good Sea Viper players and bad Sea Viper players, it looks like. So far I'm not really seeing anything with the burn kicks, though. I want to see more gross stuff with the burn kicks. All right, there we go. So that's a pretty important one right there, right? Neutral jump burn kick. So watch out. You might get baited into something, man. That's gonna be, man. Neutral air burn kick. Gross, man. Gross. You really have to be very mindful on how you use your drive meter with Viper, just because a lot of her moves just expend like 1 bar if you want to get the extra properties, or even if you want to just get the you want to eke out as much optimization possible with Viper. Oh my God, oh my Lord, was that just a... Oh my God, dude, man. We have to see what that super jump cancel is going to look like, because look at that. Just a single poke into immediate super jump cancel in a level 2. And yeah, so, I mean, this seems to be like a pretty much going to be the case here, that if you are the Viper player, then the plus, right, compared to like Sagat and Elena, where mid-screen they don't really get Oki. If you want to get Oki mid-screen, then you're just going to need to sacrifice 1 bar of drive meter, or potentially just go into the install, and go from there. That's going to be another big question, though. Is it going to be similar to Mai, where the whole point is to try to get into level 1 as much as you can? Is that what's going to be the situation here for Sea Viper? Because there is a lot of pluses being in that install, because no longer do you have to worry about using so much drive meter, especially when it seems like the follow-ups and the super jump cancels are going to be like pretty integral to the constant ever flow of the Street Fighter neutral here for Sea Viper. I wonder, is EX plus here, maybe? Possibly. But it is interesting, right? If it is plus, then that's going to be like particularly annoying if you're trying to play against the Sea Viper there, because you know, I guess maybe when you look at it realistically, is like super jump into EX burn kick, if it's plus, is that really that unfair? Because you could also just look at this as like a crouching medium kick drive rush into standing jab, where you're now in a throw strike situation. That's probably the same thing with Sea Viper, and her super jump into EX burn kick is 3 meters, so it's pretty much the equivalent. So yeah, I guess the only unfair aspect is that it's a little bit less obvious of a tell as far as to when she'll do it, because at least with the medium kick drive rush, you have to be in range. With burn kick, with super jump burn kick, like the range can be pretty far, and you never really know when she's going to be able to do that because of that kind of range, so. Okay, so I think that's gonna be. I mean, it's obvious, of course, but it looks like she has the same kind of. Actually, we'll have to see. Would she have been able to cancel out of the Seismo if she just super jumped in this situation, right? I would assume that Capcom, the only way that you would be able to super jump out of the Seismo, or I don't know, do any kind of follow up, is if something got hit. So if the Seismo if the Seismo whiffed completely, then it would seem fair for someone to just get a fat jumping on you. So maybe you have to be pretty mindful and not too obvious when throwing out your Seismo. So similar to any Fireball character, really. So. That is gonna be, man. That is very interesting, right? I'm trying to figure out, is there a character in the roster that can immediately like threaten you from round start like that without the use of drive meter? Possibly Sagat, with his Tiger Knee, maybe. But it's a little bit reactable. I'm trying to think if there is, and I'm not finding it, because the kind of crazy thing here is, not necessarily the fact that she can immediately burn kick round start and hit you, but it's just like the plethora of options that Viper can do at this range at the round start, right? She could easily just go ahead, super jump, cancel, burn kick in front of your face, right? And possibly maybe get a cross up at the start of the round as well. Or they might just try to bait you out and go for a neutral air burn kick, right? Like the reason why Sagat's Tiger Knee is not so great, is the fact that it's kind of reactable, and so you can just press DI or react with perfect parry and all that. But with Viper, she has a lot more flexibility compared to Sagat, where once you commit to the Tiger Knee, you're committed to the Tiger Knee. But with Sea Viper, she has a lot more like maneuverability and plasticity with how you can go about with the burn kick here. So I would say is that if you have kind of scarred your opponent at the round start with your burn kicks, you might be able to like snowball that even further, and that might actually just sort of just be like what sets the tone of the entire match. Ooh, that's kind of nice. She has, she's able to convert off of air to airs. That's pretty cool. Similar to Bison, right? Similar to who else has like some pretty decent air to air conversions? I'm not able to come up with it immediately in my mind, but Bison being one of them, of course. And yeah, and imagine, right? She expended one bar drive meter to get some sort of enhanced version of the burn kick, and she might be in front of their face with some Oki. So, you know, sacrificing 1 bar of drive meter on an air to air to, put yourself at such an advantageous position, like that sounds like a very nice thing to have. Speaking of the burn kicks, I don't know how, because we're talking about, before, right? We're talking about how reactable Sagat's Tiger Knee is, just because of that little slight delay at his startup animation. But as we're seeing here with Sea Viper, I'm trying to get a good grasp of, like, can I react appropriately to her burn kicks, right? Yeah, like, I don't know. I don't know if I can react appropriately compared to Sagat. So, is this, like, pretty bad against DI, because what is it? I know with Sagat, I believe, his Tiger Knees, they have extra recovery if they get hit by, or if they hit, like, an armor move, I want to say, or at least just by DI. So there is extra opportunity for you to get the DI punish counter on a Sagat Tiger Knee. Will that be the same thing for Sea Viper's burn kicks, do you think? Or would it not even matter? Right. And the scary thing is that if you can't DI it, and if it's a little, like, iffy on the perfect parry, then what are your options? The XDP, can you react possibly with that? Do you just, like, duck? Do you basically just hold down back and see if it whiffs or not? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I gotta say, like, that's what makes me. We have to talk a little bit about Seismo here, just because of the fact that it goes under, and you saw the amount of conversions that she's able to get off of a Seismo, right? Super jump cancel and a burn kick. Like, can you really use fireballs against this character? She has the Seismo that goes under it, and she can probably avoid it in time by super jump canceling and the burn kick. I'm sure just burn kick in general, super jump burn kick would probably go over fireballs. So, I mean, are you going to risk that? But other characters, like Aki, fireball drive rush, Chun-Li, fireball drive rush, right? Like, it looks like you might not really be able to get that free Yoki, or if you are trying to, punish her for it by going into, like, EXDP. Well, at least with Chun-Li, because Aki doesn't have that. So with Chun-Li, that's 3 bars of drive meter. That's the 1 bar for doing fireball drive rush, and then that's going to be 2 bars for the EXDP to punish react against the Sea Viper burn kick. And it's like you just spent 3 bars of drive meter to hit me out of the air with 1 EXDP, and now I'm like and I can do it again. If you try to do fireball drive rush again, it's like, are you gonna spend another 3 bars to do that? I mean, just take a look at this. Fireball at the start of the round. Sea Viper says, hell nah, son. You ain't gonna get that. An immediate burn kick. And here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Look at her drive bar. Look at her drive bar up here. Didn't use a single bar of drive meter to do that. So, fireball characters? Nah, son, don't do it. So, we just watched the entirety of the Sea Viper level 7 CPU gameplay. So, overall, I am now just more intrigued by her, because the difficulty now for me, I thought it was going to be based around her resource management, which I still think is a heavy consideration for why she's a difficult character. But execution wise, I think is now also just gonna be in that same realm. The showcase of like standing medium kick, super jump cancel into a lot of these conversions, I am now thinking again that, you know what, maybe execution in terms of like, conversions off of normals like that is also going to be another aspect of why she's going to be like probably the highest execution character possible. This is a character where you can definitely tell the difference between who are the good Sea Viper players and who are the bad ones. But yeah, overall, I have really high hopes for Sea Viper, and there's just a lot more to her that we just have not seen yet. We haven't seen a lot of the implications of her feint cancel combos. How far are they going to go with the difficulty and the optimization with it? Not only that, but also the focus attack, armor type special. Like, where does that come into play? Is that also going to be another, option of a layer of a mind game going on top of all these other offensive options that Sea Viper has? Are you going to panic and possibly hit into that armor and get punished for that? So, but yeah, Sea Viper is sick. Capcom really did a great job with Sea Viper. But thank you very much for watching the video. This has been the Yuckster, and I hope to see all of you with Sea Viper comes out next month.